It's an exciting time of the year wherein festive season beckons, and we have a GST bonanza, which is going to help the market grow faster. To talk about that and more, we have with us Mr. Anurag Mehrotra, MD and CEO of JSW MG Motor India. Mr. Mehrotra, thank you very much for joining Autocar Professional.
Thank you, Ketan. It's lovely talking to you always.
Yeah, thank you for your time. So, what's the sense you're getting on the mood on ground zero? GST rate cut has been announced. Festive season's around the corner. What are your expectations?
I think it's been a dose of enthusiasm, to say the least. I was telling someone that the WhatsApp groups where all dealers and all of us are there, kind of lit up on the 3rd. Lots of emojis that were shared on that day,
Right.
and clearly it spoke of the mood that got set post the 3rd. I think it started with the 15th of August when the Prime Minister announced it, and I know, having been part of SIAM for a while, that this has been an ask for a fairly long period of time,
Right.
that we needed to rationalize the GST structures, the rates, and it finally happened, and it got executed so fast. And what I'm glad to inform is the first 10 days that we have seen of September, we've already seen that the inquiry levels are better than the first 10 days of August, which is before even the Prime Minister had announced, which seems to suggest that the consumers are starting to respond.
Right.
Now we need to watch how it translates into bookings and retails. But I can tell you, like one of your colleagues just a few minutes ago told me, Anurag, I haven't seen this level of enthusiasm for a long period of time.
Absolutely.
It's kind of reflective, right? All of us are very excited. It's given a dose of encouragement and impetus both to the consumers and to the automotive industry. So looking forward to serving more and more consumers.
JSW MG has been extremely supportive of its channel partners ever since MG has come in India. You held their hand together. There's a lot of talk about cess, what happens to that. You have a larger portfolio, but you also have EVs, which is a large part of your portfolio. How stressed is the channel partner at this juncture, and what are the steps that JSW MG is doing in order to protect the interest? Because as an industry, we are talking about a 2,500 crore of cumulative cess, which is lying with the ecosystem. You've always been very supportive. What are the steps you've taken?
I think as soon as the announcement came, the first thing we did was we worked jointly with KPMG. We brought them on board, ensured that all the questions that were kind of in the minds of our dealers were getting responded to, not just through the capabilities of our finance team, but also leveraging the know-how of KPMG. Second, we have assured the dealers that it is important that we stay in this together.
Right.
Their profitability and their viability is very, very important. Third, both as SIAM as well as FADA, both associations have made representations to the government.
Right.
So far, yesterday, what we've heard from Mr. Piyush Goyal is that they will be open to looking at the idea. So we are hopeful that before the 21st, 22nd, there is some sort of resolution that gets done. I'm genuinely of the view that whatever will be done, either by the government or by the OEMs or by the dealers, all of it will be for collective win-win. So I'm a believer in that, and I believe that is what all of us should approach it like.
Any conscious decision taken, given the fact that the feelers were there right from the month of August? Some car makers did take a call on pushing less stock despite festive season being around the corner. Some car makers like Mahindra have already given schemes that allows dealer to absorb the pressure for whatever inventory that is lying in there. Any steps that JSW MG took?
Yeah, two parts. I think one, given that our center of gravity is EVs,
Right.
we were lesser impacted to that degree.
Right.
Second, ICE products, we also held back the wholesales for the dealers to ensure that there is enough there isn't build up of the pain that the dealers were facing.
Right.
And we've held that even today.
Right.
So we are of the view that
fantastic.
we should hold back on ICE wholesales till such time that there is clarity on cess.
Right. What does it do to the market? We're talking about almost 10% on the smaller cars, almost ranges from 10 to 15% depending on what kind of SUV that we're talking about in ICE. The impact on the festive season and on the market, because the consensus earlier in the year was the market will grow by 1 to 2%. How do you see it?
I think we are. You're right. The first half of the year, if you see Jan to July, which is about 7 months, the industry is growing only at about 1 to 2%.
Right.
In certain months, it has actually degrown,
Right.
like June and July.
Right.
There was pressure in the industry that was being felt. The consumer response was not to the same degree that all of us had anticipated.
Right.
But it's a story of two sides. One
halves,
side
yeah.
is of two halves, right? First is ICE, which was barely at 1 or 2%, but EVs was growing at a very fast clip rate.
Absolutely.
At the end of last year, all of you reported that in EV as a percentage of total industry was 2.5%. First quarter, Jan to March, it was about 3% odd. Second quarter, about 4% odd.
Yeah.
And last month in August, despite the announcement,
Yeah.
it crossed the 6% sort of a
Fantastic.
threshold. So the EV adoption is continuing at a very fast clip rate, and that is because consumers are realizing that the value proposition is still strong, despite the GST reduction on small cars.
The parity
value,
coming down.
The value proposition still holds. Monthly saving for you on a fuel bill is still significant.
Right.
Second, same sized car. Earlier, initial acquisition cost was higher.
Yeah.
But today, if you look at a 4.3 meter car like Windsor is, a similar petrol automatic you compare it to, you will find that EV is already cheaper.
Right.
So the initial acquisition cost is coming down as battery prices are coming down. Second, the fuel costs are still fuel or battery costs are lower, which means that your running costs are very, very low, and maintenance costs are almost 1/10. So it tells you that
The benefits still exist.
Benefits still exist, and it is substantial. And if you heard Mr. Gadkari today in the morning, his number one priority for the country is air pollution, and this sustainable mobility or EV adoption, in a way of speaking, is absolutely on the same track.
What are you expecting in the second half? You spoke about the first 7 months. What's your anticipation?
Yeah, I think, I've learned one thing after having been in the industry long enough, that you should never forecast, because you will definitely be wrong, either on the plus side or on the minus side. So I think we are all in anticipation, waiting to see how consumers respond. And this month will really be the torchbearer for what the second half will look like. I think September will unfold if it unfolds the way it has started, I think we are all going to be pretty happy by the way it ends.
I understand it's very hard to make comment in the short term, but there's a certain trajectory that the Indian passenger vehicle market has gone through in the last decade and a half. It's been around 3 to 4%. Everyone was waiting for some kind of impetus or a thrust. GST offers you that. When you look at the India growth story over a long-term period, do you think this is something that the market needed for an accelerated growth? How do you see the long-term India growth story?
Yeah, I think if you look at the CAGR over a longer period of time, 10-year horizon sort of window, 5 or 10 year, the Indian passenger vehicle industry typically tends to grow in the 5 to 6% CAGR.
Okay.
We believe that if that holds for the rest of till 2030, industry should get to about 5.5 to 6 million units.
Right.
And within that, EVs and hybrids combined should be about 30%.
Okay.
Before the end of this year, I'm fairly hopeful that it should cross the 7% mark on a full year basis.
Right, right. Do you anticipate an accelerated growth given the fact that 5 to 6% was the base case for the past? Now that with this shot in the arm in terms of more accessible price, do we expect the growth to be more?
I would love for it to be there, so. I think, like I said, we've got to just watch for a couple of quarters and see how consumers are responding to it, and then recalibrate. But the base scenario remains that it should get to about 30% of the total industry. If, let's say, at the back of the GST reforms, the consumers really respond to it, then all of us would be delighted with the fact that the EV or hybrid as a combination penetration goes up. It helps the country from an energy security point of view. It helps the country in terms of reduced oil import bills. So both from a country point of view, from a consumer point of view, and an OEM point of view, it is highly beneficial.
Then just last question on JSW MG, very aggressive roadmap that was defined last year. Where are we in that journey? We've already seen Windsor doing phenomenally well, 11 months in a row. The leading SUV brand, MG Select has started on a good note with Cyberster and M9. How do you see the trajectory for the brand in the next 2 to 3 years? What can one expect?
Yeah, thank you. I think we've clearly defined our vision to be a leading automotive brand in the new energy space. So when we were formulating our strategy in March of 24, when the JV got formed, we use the Roger Martin framework to say where to play and how to win.
Right.
And the where to play was clear to us. We have a very high success possibility if we stick to the new energy space.
Right.
Does not mean we will not have ICE. Our center of gravity will be new energy vehicles. So we will have about 70-80% of our sales or portfolio which will be centered on new energy vehicles. 20-25 to 30% will be on ICE. Second, I think we, given the fact that we have access to deep technology, both that is scaled and matured through our parentage of SAIC, we believe we'll be able to bring product to market much faster and matured products to market. And that will give us a right to win in the marketplace. The first product that came out of this strategy formulation was Windsor.
And outright success.
And you've seen that it has found great resonance with consumers. Our market share in EV used to be sub 10% 2 years ago. Today we are at 30%. And the story is not done. We still have enough product coming through. I think the other thing that we've done in this year, like you rightfully said, is we've also entered the premium car market.
Right.
With the Select channel, all new channel that has been formulated, 2 new products, absolute disruptors in their segments, which is a sports car in EV, and the second is an MPV, and the response has been phenomenal. I think we can't get enough product in the market, if you ask me. But having said that,
any numbers could you share?
I think last month we did over 170 odd units.
Fantastic.
That is, I mean, we could have done more. It's just that we were constrained on supply side. But it's just a privilege to bring new energy vehicles to consumers and serve them.
To any priorities, top 2 priorities for you? Profitability, sustained product action?
I think 2, accelerated development of product is one. And the second is profitability through higher levels of localization.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for talking to Autocar Professional.
Thank you.